On our baby's first birthday, I found the one gift that ruined everything: a pregnancy test in my husband's gym bag. Seconds later, his phone buzzed with a message from Mom, but his mom had been dead for 3 years. I checked again. This time the number was my sister's. My stomach flipped. Was I imagining things? I sat down dizzy, trying to process the impossible truth staring back at me. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Your support keeps this channel alive. Now let me tell you how it all started. Our daughter's first birthday was supposed to be a memory carved in gold. The house was bursting with laughter, balloons swaying against the ceiling, and the sweet scent of frosting filling the air. My husband, Daniel, had been the perfect father that day, lifting our giggling little girl high into the air, his smile so wide it melted every heart in the room. I watched him, clutching my cup of tea, believing for one fleeting moment that this life of ours was unshakable. But illusions shatter in silence. The cake had been smashed, the guests gone, and our daughter finally asleep in her crib. That's when I noticed Daniel had left his gym bag by the door. Normally, he was meticulous about taking it straight upstairs. I didn't think much of it, until I lifted it. The bag felt heavier than usual, almost weighted with a secret. I carried it up, humming softly, until the phone on the counter buzzed. I almost ignored it. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw the notification light up. A single text. Can't stop thinking about last night. At first, my mind stumbled. Last night? He had told me he was working late, finalizing a project for a client. My hand trembled as I picked up the phone. But what sent ice straight through my veins wasn't the message, it was the sender. The contact name glowed on the screen in bold letters: Mom. Daniel's mother had been gone for 3 years. My pulse thundered in my ears. The logical part of my brain whispered, maybe it's a mistake. Maybe he just saved someone under that name. But then I saw the number beneath the contact. It wasn't just anyone. It was my sister. The gym bag slipped from my hand, hitting the hardwood with a dull thud. That's when the small white box tumbled out, spinning until it landed at my feet. My knees buckled as I stared at it. A pregnancy test. Positive. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My world narrowed to the glow of the phone screen and the cruel plus sign mocking me. The walls closed in, my husband, my sister, and a child that wasn't mine. Rewinding months, I should have seen it. The late-night showers, the scent of vanilla clinging to his clothes, though I never wore that perfume. The vague explanations about team-building weekends and last-minute meetings. But love has a way of making you blind. I told myself I was imagining things, that Daniel was just tired, that my sister was always helping out because she cared about us. But that night, our daughter's birthday, my denial died. I sat on the edge of the bed, clutching the test in one hand, his phone in the other, my tears soaking into the blanket. The memories played like cruel flashbacks. My sister laughing in my kitchen, my husband smiling at her jokes, the way their eyes sometimes lingered on each other a second too long. I had excused it as family closeness. Now it felt like betrayal carved into my chest. When Daniel walked into the bedroom, his face lit up with that same easy smile. But when he saw what I was holding, the color drained from his cheeks. He froze, every muscle in his body stiffening. Where did you find that?" he stammered, eyes darting from the phone to the test. I didn't answer. My throat was too tight, my heart hammering so hard I thought I'd collapse. His silence was louder than any confession. I finally found my voice, shaking but sharp. "How long?" Daniel's mouth opened, then closed. He reached out, as if to take my hands, but I recoiled. "Please, it's not what it looks like. Not what it looks like?" My laugh cracked, bitter and broken. "So, my dead mother-in-law is texting you? My sister is carrying who's a baby, Daniel." His jaw clenched. His eyes flickered, searching for an escape, but there was none. The room felt like a courtroom, and I was both judge and executioner. Yet, despite my fury, a part of me needed him to deny it, to tell me it was all some monstrous misunderstanding, but deep down, I already knew the truth. Daniel sank onto the chair, burying his face in his hands. And in that silence, my world split apart. I thought about my daughter, Her tiny laugh, her innocent smile. How could I protect her from this storm? How could I explain that the father she adored and the aunt she loved had destroyed everything? The birthday balloons still floated downstairs, bright and mocking, reminders of a family I thought was real. And now, all I could see was betrayal stitched into every moment of my past year. And the worst part? I hadn't even confronted my sister yet. But I would. And when I did, nothing in this world would prepare her for what I had to say. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak of the house, every distant car on the street felt like it was mocking me. My husband's phone lay on the nightstand, silent now, as if it hadn't just detonated my world hours earlier. Beside me, Daniel pretended to sleep, his breathing steady. I could almost convince myself it was a nightmare, until my eyes fell on the pregnancy test still tucked in my drawer. Morning came with the weight of truth. My sister Rachel texted in our family group chat like nothing had happened. She even wrote, "Yesterday was perfect. So happy for you guys." I stared at her words, bile rising in my throat. How could she type so easily when she was the ghost haunting my marriage? I didn't reply. Instead, I planned. That evening, when Daniel left for the gym, I called Rachel. My voice trembled, but I forced calm. "Can you come over? I need to talk. Alone." She arrived 30 minutes later, hair in a messy bun, wearing the sweater I bought her for Christmas. She smiled. My sister. My blood. The woman who once swore she'd always have my back. For a moment, I almost broke. Almost. But then I remembered the text, the test, the lie. I led her into the kitchen. "Do you want some tea?" I asked. My voice sounded strange, hollow. "Sure," she said casually, slipping onto a stool. "What's up? You sounded serious." I placed the mug in front of her, then slid the pregnancy test across the counter. Her face drained of color. She opened her mouth, then shut it. Don't!" I cut in. My hands gripped the counter so tightly my knuckles turned white. "Just tell me the truth, Rachel. Is it his?" Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't speak. Her silence screamed louder than any confession. Something inside me cracked. Years of memories, sleepovers, late-night talks, promises of sisterhood, burned in an instant. How could you? My voice was a whisper, but it carried the weight of every betrayal I'd ever known. Rachel broke then, sobbing into her hands. "It wasn't supposed to happen. I never meant for it to go this far. He said he loved me, that he felt trapped with you." Her words stabbed deeper than the knife in my drawer ever could. Trapped with me? After everything I'd given up to build our family? My vision blurred, rage and sorrow tangling inside me. I turned away, gripping the sink until my body stopped shaking. "Get out," I whispered. "Please just let me explain." "Get out!" I roared, spinning to face her. My daughter stirred upstairs at the sound, and Rachel flinched. With tears streaking her cheeks, she grabbed her purse and fled. The house fell silent again, except for my baby's soft cries. I climbed the stairs, my heart breaking at the thought of explaining this to her one day. I held her close, promising her with every ounce of my being that I'd protect her from the chaos her father and aunt had created. But protection wasn't enough. I needed justice. When Daniel returned, sweaty shirt clinging to him, I was waiting in the living room with the test on the table. He froze, his eyes darting to the empty mug Rachel had left behind. "You talked to her," he said flatly. "Yes," I replied. My voice was calm now, too calm. "She told me everything." His jaw tightened. For a moment, I thought he'd try to fight it, spin another web of lies. But instead, he sank onto the couch, rubbing his temples. "It just happened," he muttered. "I didn't mean for it to." I laughed bitterly. "Pregnancy doesn't just happen, Daniel. Affairs don't just happen. You chose this. You both did." He looked up at me then, desperation in his eyes. "We can work through this. For our daughter." "Don't you dare use her as a shield," I snapped, my voice cracking like a whip. "She deserves better than parents who pretend. And I deserve better than a husband who lies in my bed while building a secret life with my sister." Daniel reached for me, but I stepped back. "It's over," I said firmly. "You made your choice. Now I'll make mine." His face twisted, but I didn't care. I had cried enough tears for him. That night, I packed his things into black garbage bags and left them by the door. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I simply ended it. The woman who once clung to illusions was gone. In her place stood someone stronger, someone who would never be deceived again. And as I watched him carry his bags into the night, I felt a strange sense of peace. The storm had ripped through my life, but I had survived. My daughter would grow up knowing the truth, but also knowing her mother had chosen strength over silence. The balloons from her birthday had all deflated by then, but I didn't mind. We would make new memories, ones untainted by betrayal. Betrayal cuts deep, but healing makes you stronger. If you were in my shoes, would you forgive or walk away forever? Don't forget to subscribe to for more true confessions and family betrayals. Your support helps bring these stories to life.